Happy New Year, guys. This is Cats. James MCD Reviews here with Cait, one of my best friends. We've known each other literally since we were born.
Yeah, literally.
And she's awesome, and I had to bring her on for this video because not only does she actually know the musical, but she's actually been in a production of Cats, so I had to bring her on for this. Talk a little bit about, like, the musical and your, like...
So, I mean, if you didn't already know, Cats was a musical written by Andrew Lloyd Webber. If you're more familiar with, like, Phantom of the Opera, he did that. Joseph Technicolor Dreamcoat. It's arguably one of the most hated musicals in musical theater history, just because it's like watching a fever dream. I won't lie. We'll probably talk about that.
Yeah.
But it has a lot of bad credit, and you know, my mom loved Cats, so I grew up loving Cats, and I grew up like one of the only few people that actually loved Cats in its entirety. And so, yeah, I came into it, you know, I like the musical, unlike a lot of other people, the majority of everyone. So that's my standpoint. And I feel like because I was in Cats, there's a little bit more appreciation for it, but there's also a lot more things that we personally did different to make sure, like, it resonated with the audience and actually made sense.
Yeah.
Which is kind of like an argument that a lot of people have. It's like, there's absolutely no storyline, no plot, nothing. Which I get it. Honestly, I can see, because in the original Broadway, there was like no dialogue. It's just it's literally singing. So I understand, but that's...
See, now I knew pretty much nothing about the musical until today. Like, I knew of the arts, like the makeup, like, style. I knew obviously, like, the most iconic song, the Memories and whatever. That was about as much as I knew. I didn't know what, like, the basic, like, concept was until, like, this movie. So going into it with such little knowledge and just going off of the trailers, I was hoping for a so bad it's good, and I'm honestly not even sure if I got that. What even was that?
Yeah. I get it. It's like hard to explain because, like, I'm coming in for, like, I know it, the musical.
Like,
so
what?
I don't know.
As someone who knows the musical and has been in it, what did you think of it?
Okay, so I mean, so it starts with, like, you know, what can I cuss?
Yeah, sure.
Okay,
I don't care.
What the hell is the story? And I might get added because people might think I'm reading too into things, but the basis of the story is that it's about renewal, rebirth, attaining this new life, you know?
Right.
That's like, and all these cats introduce themselves because they feel like they have something to offer. They have a reason why they should get reborn, blah, 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 blah.
Okay.
And
I mean, I got that. Like, I got that overall.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
Yeah, but just, like, how does it compare, basically? I mean...
Yeah.
I was, like, making remarks to James during this show.
Yeah, she was like, this doesn't happen in the musical,
like,
this doesn't happen. Because, like, see, that's why I'm glad you were there, because if you weren't, I'd just be watching, like, what the fuck is going on?
Yeah, I mean, my biggest, not, like, issue with it, but I was just kind of confused was the choice to make, like, Victoria the main cat. I'm not sure.
What? So is she in the original?
So she's in the original Broadway cast, and basically Victoria was an all-white cat. She is the youngest cat, but there's never, like, the backstory of how she got there. Like, the beginning of the movie starts with her getting abandoned and, like, whatever. There's never this, like, resentment of her coming in. Like, that's never explained. She's just this cat, and she has, which they included in the movie, she has this, like, ballet dance, solo on point.
Right.
Which is, like, kind of as much as she gets. And then, like, after Memory, when Grisabella sings, she's, like, the first cat to, like, reach out and touch her. So maybe I was thinking, like, that's what they were coming off of, like, trying to, like,
I mean,
I
just didn't even know what the, like, point of her was, aside from, you know, like, it, like, I mean, if she's in the musical, then she's in the musical.
I mean,
but, like, she's just kind of, I mean, if she was sort of, like, the viewpoint of the audience, maybe I could kind of understand that. But, like, because didn't you say, is Grisabelle chosen in the, spoilers, is Grisabelle chosen in the musical, too?
Yeah, Grisabelle's chosen.
Okay.
So, I don't know. I mean, I didn't really, like, I appreciate them for trying to, like, have more of a story or, like, a little background information. I just didn't, like...
But, I mean, even then, the story is kind of all over the place.
It is all over the place. It is.
Like, was, Idris Elba's character, Macavity or whatever, is he, like, a major part of the actual musical? Like, is he, like, Thanos snapping fucking cats all over the place?
We did our show a little bit differently, I know that, and so there wasn't, like, there was a lot, I forgot what we took out. We took out something. But, it wasn't, like, these, like, you know, it wasn't even big scenes he was in, like, or these, like, little moments throughout the show. Like, there wasn't, like, any of that, like, he, like, took a bunch of cats and stuff like that. I mean, there was, like, a fighting sequence in the musical, but that was, I forgot when that was, but it wasn't, like, this whole grand, Macavity was this, you know, bad cat that everyone knew, and he was, like, a hush-hush, he shall not be named character, but there wasn't this, I don't even know what to describe it, like, this weird, like, villainy, like, whole ordeal. Like, he's a villain.
Because, like, in this movie, he's a straight-up villain. Like,
yeah, there was never this, like, oh, I'm gonna take this person with my little magic and flip him around and pooping him on this, like, weird barge in the middle. I was like, what the hell?
And we, like, never, after he takes these, like, cats, he takes Rebel Wilson, he takes James Corden, he takes a few others, and then we just never hear from them for the rest of the...
They just appear at the end when they're going to the heavy side layer, and I'm like...
Yeah.
I don't know, it wasn't that big of a deal in the musical, it's really not.
Yeah, I was... There were a lot of things about the story that were just, like, kind of confusing and all over the place. And I mean, it went from... It kept going back and forth between being confusing and also kind of boring. Like, I don't know, maybe you felt differently because, like, you've been in it and you've seen it done right. But,
I've seen it done right, and
it felt like it dragged in certain points.
Yeah, I mean, obviously there's songs that I could just do without.
Right.
But, I mean, I don't know, I guess just because, like, I love the musical. I feel so weird saying that. Like, I do love the musical, I love the music, like...
I mean, the music in this, for the most part, is pretty decent. Like
the instrumentations,
the instrumentals are really good. Some of
but like, I mean, I wasn't bored because I was just singing along, like how I did it.
Yeah, but yeah, the music was pretty decent. The cast was pretty alright.
Yeah, honestly, the cast was
like if the movie like failed as a whole, it would not be because of the cast.
No. It's literally cats.
Yeah, like I don't know if you were doing this, but a lot of the time I was just looking at the set design, like all the stuff in the background.
Oh, it's really pretty.
Yeah, it does look really nice, and it's just littered with cat puns.
Yeah, I was like, halfway through Mary Jane's just like...
I was like, hey, look, there's the Catsino.
Yeah, I was just like... So, the thing about the set design is, I mean, it's kind of different, like,
Where does the musical take place?
You know, that's a good question. It's kind of like... From productions I've seen and the production we did, it's kind of different with everyone. Like, what we did was, our entire set design was this, like, big junkyard, and we had, like, modern twists. Like, I think, like, our set designer, painted, like, you know, the cover of, like, one of Lady Gaga's, like, covers of her album, like, put it on a CD, like, little, like, modern twists to the whole junkyard vibe. So it's kind of like, we did it as, like, a huge, like, mystical junkyard of cats, which I thought was pretty neat, because we had, like, places to climb, we had a huge, I I think it was a fridge or like a washing machine. I think it was a washing machine that we just climb over, and like the hatchet would open, there'd be smoke and like sparkles and everything, and like it's kind of different. But
yeah, I mean, and
not this weird like London-y.
Yeah, like you expect it to be different, but a different like transition from the milk bar.
The milk bar.
But I mean, like I get it. It's a movie versus a stage show, which has like such a limited
Obviously,
space.
there's gonna be different.
But like. They have the song at the end where Julie Dench is like, I hope you've learned something, and I'm like, I don't feel like I learned anything. Like, what the fuck was this?
I was so confused at like that because that was another time where I was like looking at James and I was like,
what?
This fourth wall does not happen. At least when we did it, or like when I watched the revival of Cats, I forgot, it was like 2010. I forgot when they actually revived it, but. This whole fourth wall thing, like when we did it, old dude was singing to the cats, like as, you know, Grisabella ascended and things like that.
Right.
But none of it's like, oh, I'm gonna stare off. It was like very uncomfortable too.
Yeah, I was like,
I love you,
what
Judy.
is she looking at?
But I was like, I was very thrown off for a second.
Yeah,
but,
and in terms of the thing that everyone's going to be talking about, the effects. Now, granted, we watched the re-edited version, which apparently cleaned up the effects. Which, I mean, to their credit, like, they do look a lot cleaner than the trailers.
Yeah, it wasn't.
But I mean, like, it's still really creepy, and it felt like all the cats were suffering from like small head syndrome.
Oh yeah, like, I did notice that their heads were kind of small, and
there did look like a few, like, I don't know if it was just like my eyes playing tricks on me, but I thought I saw a few of the like animations glitch. Like,
I actually kind of noticed that. I don't know if you picked it up, but like in the Mr. Mistopheles scenes, his like actual hands were there, but it was the editing with the white fur around his hands was just kind of weird. I actually noticed that. I was like, okay.
that was there's a few scenes like that were a bit jarring.
But I honestly, like, I don't know, it wasn't that bad. Like, the CGI, it was weird, but, because it's literally but it wasn't the cats that were my issue, it was the rats and the cockroaches. The rats and the cockroaches.
Yeah, see, I didn't know that well, apparently the cockroaches are actually in the musical, but I didn't know that either of those things were going to be in there.
Yeah, I mean, we have like, when we did, we're talking about the Jenny Annie scene when she's doing her whole thing, and we had rats, but there's a scene where there's tap dancing cockroaches. Yeah. And fun fact, I was a tap dancing cockroach. And one of my best friend played Jenny Annie Dots, who's played by Rebel Wilson. Right. Who, that song I have beef with, because like my friend who played Jenny Annie Dots did an amazing job, and that song was like actually like one of our showstoppers. Like, it was so much fun because it was.
But in the movie,
it just doesn't. It's not coherent. That's the thing that I noticed. A lot of it's just not coherent.
Yeah, like a lot of the singing sounded like kind of unnatural. Like it didn't sound. Like I was mainly because like James, you know, he does the film critique version. I don't pick up on things. I pick up on like the music and the singing. Right. I don't know if this makes sense, probably, but a lot of like when the ensemble was singing, it sounded very thin. Like, do you know what I mean? Like, kind of. I don't know. It's just, to me, the sound wasn't full a lot of the time, where maybe it was just because of like how I normally hear it, but it just but there's also really good times when the ensemble was really good, but some of the time it just sounded really thin, or just kind of like, I don't know, some voices didn't blend together as well as they probably should have. Right. I wasn't really sure, but I was just kind of like, I don't know. Like, I mean, I was just talking about how, like, during some of the songs, they just, like, with the lyrics and the voices, they just sounded
it was kind of weird.
Yeah.
It was.
It was just a tad off.
Yeah.
And I mean, just add that on to the fact that half the cast can't really sing. Like, yeah, you got freaking Jennifer Hudson. Who,
I loved her.
She did really well.
Memory was very good. Yeah. I love Memory.
Like,
I love Memory.
That was yeah, the movie as a whole may not have been very good, but Memories was like one of the only
and that's
one of the highlights.
Yeah, and that's kind of like what people kind of talk about anyways about Cats is like, don't quote me on this, but I think like Andrew Lloyd Webber's, excuse me, oh my god, like wrote Memory first.
And then wrote a musical.
And it was always people were saying
that makes so much more sense.
Exactly, like everyone was saying like it just like Memory. I mean, I love Memory. I think it's such a beautiful song. I love the lyricism, but it is kind of out of place out of all the other songs.
Yeah.
But I also feel like maybe this is me reading too into things, that there's a reason for that, because she is the chosen one, because she is this cat that's been like scorned and like hated and things like that. So maybe that is supposed to happen, or maybe it's just a really amazing song in the middle of a bunch of shit I don't know. But yeah.
I don't really know like what else to say. I mean, in terms of like filmmaking, it was shot decently. There was a few like scenes of kind of like shaky cam, but nothing like too ridiculous. It was edited fairly well.
The lighting was really pretty.
I love the lighting was nice.
I love
like
the coloring.
I said, the set design.
Yeah, the set design, coloring. I mean, I really liked all the neon stuff. That was really cool. Don't understand the milk bar.
The cat puns in the background were a bit much, but like beyond that,
Alright.
yeah, I mean, I don't really know. Like, it's not like ridiculously bad, like as bad as people are saying it is. Like, I wouldn't put this on my worst list. Maybe an honorable mention. But,
I don't think like, because I know you just did your worst list.
Yeah.
But I mean, obviously I'm kind of biased because again, I love the show, but I don't think it's like the worst movie I've ever seen.
Yeah, people all over the internet were saying like, "Oh my god, this is the worst movie of 2019."
This is a furry's best nightmare.
Yeah, I was like, I'm honestly really curious to see how furries react to this movie.
No, yeah,
there was a lot of like sexual tension between the cats.
Yeah, I mean,
are Victoria and Mr. Mistopheles, are they like a thing in the...
No, it's not like, I mean, when we did the show, we had like artistic liberties to like have relationship with the cats and stuff, like especially in the ensemble, but there was never like a set, Victoria and Mr. Mistopheles have to be together. Okay. But I mean, I didn't have a problem with it. Like, I thought it was cute.
I thought it was just weird.
Yeah, I mean, I was like, alright, well, whatever.
But, fan fiction writers, get ready.
Hey,
yeah,
it's better than read though.
Yeah, I mean, I'll give it this is more entertaining sit than Rise of Skywalker. So, yeah, I mean, it's definitely not the worst movie I've ever seen, not the best either.
I mean,
it's just like, it's just, I don't know. I didn't get it. Maybe it takes being a part of it to actually like understand it a little more. But I wouldn't call it the worst movie of 2019.
Yeah. I mean, people who like are heavily involved in theater and love theater for so long don't even understand the show. And that's fine. I mean, sometimes I think I'm just reading into the whole show, and it really is just a bunch of freaking cats just singing. But
I mean, like, I don't even know. If I had to rate it out of 5, probably, I don't know, maybe a 3 if I'm being nice. Like, not the best, not the worst.
It's not, like, I wouldn't actively go see it again, but, like, if it was on, I wouldn't be like, oh my god. Like, it's not.
Right. Like.
It's not bad. Oh, my charger.
Yeah, like, I mean, you guys have seen my worst list. I have seen some far worse movies this year than fucking Cats. Like, this was nothing compared to, like, fucking Lion King and After and all that shit.
Harry Styles.
Yeah. What would you give it out of 5?
Out of 5, I would give it, like, being nice, a 3 as well. Probably around, like, a 2.5.
Right.
But 3, yeah, a solid 3 actually. I didn't think it was terrible. I didn't think it was the best movie I've ever seen. But I don't think that it doesn't I'm not gonna say it doesn't deserve all the hate it's getting, but it definitely isn't like I wasn't in pain watching it. Like I
Right.
wasn't physically uncomfortable watching it.
I mean,
But-
like I was, but that's just because of the effects.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah. I wasn't really looking at the effects. I won't
yeah,
lie.
and there's a lot of like ooh woo nuzzles.
Yeah,
going
I was
on.
like, "Ew, ew." I was like, oh god, that was kind of like,
Yeah.
I was kind of cringing at like the
was like-
little cat meows that were like,
Meow,
I was like, awkward,
Yeah.
but yeah, I mean,
But
that was alright.
yeah, so there you go. That's Cats. Thank you, Cait, for joining me.
Thanks.
I forget. Do you have a YouTube channel?
No.
Oh, okay. Well, I'll link to her Instagram, and if you want to see what she's up to. Thanks for watching. Let me know down in the comments if you've seen Cats and what you think of it. I know this is a little late, but still.
Yeah.
And then, apart from that, be sure to like, subscribe, ring the notification bell so you can stay up to date on when I'm posting. Follow me on all my social media, subscribe to my main channel. Everything you need to know will be in the description. Thank you guys for watching, and see you later.
Bye.